Absolutely not.
Wait, you have to say that on live so I can go.
Justin's leaving. We're about to start the wrestling show.
The worst.
It's wrestling show time. Live again.
I don't know why you don't watch wrestling.
He's stubborn. He's just doing it to make some kind of point now.
You'll watch fucking Minecraft videos, but you can't watch some wrestling.
You'll watch me pretend to play wrestling.
But here's the thing: if I was new into it, I don't think I would.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Wrestling.
He doesn't have any good memories.
Yeah,
of
if I
wrestling.
never watched wrestling, and all of a sudden you guys were like, "You got to watch wrestling." Turn on. I think I turn on and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's a very good point.
Like I don't, because like nothing.
Dressed like a chicken.
I don't have this because for me it's like I've watched wrestling since I was 5.
Yeah.
So I have that nostalgia and I have that memory of it. Where like if I just was new into it, I don't know if I'd be like, why do you watch this? There's so much of it. How do you watch all this? Christ, it's on every night.
That's one of the things is it's a huge time investment. And number 2, I have issues with stuff that's cringy. And to me, like all their storylines are fucking cringe.
It's tough.
And I don't
see me as a kid when I used to watch it, being a fan of comic books and superheroes and all that, it was always awesome. I always loved the hero aspect of it. Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, saving the day. And then even when you got into 90s stuff, Stone Cold making saves, The Rock, you had these like larger than life characters. Now it's not like that. I mean, now it's very lame, and I question it every week what the fuck I'm still doing watching it. Honestly, I get like sometimes I get a little nostalgic about it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get back into this again. Then I sit there and I'm like, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, and then we're getting a Saudi Arabia show as the road to WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get into a wrestling show here soon, but the WWE, oh god,
fucking. Should we get it started then?
We should, because I personally I don't watch anything WWE anymore. I don't follow them on any social.
I have
media.
conditions that are we starting now?
We'll start here. Yeah, let me kick off the show. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave.
All right, we'll see you later.
You should listen to these conditions.
Yeah,
I'll turn on the live. I'll be your one.
All right, yeah, turn on the live, then you can watch it.
And then wreck your car.
Comment in on what we're talking about.
We're not giving away bitcoins, but
be careful.
All right, guys.
See ya. All right, Ken, we're good. Hit it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the KF Podcast. This is the wrestling show. Today's either Thursday the 10th or Friday the 11th, depending on when you're watching us. We're now on YouTube Live.
Yes,
we're going to talk about fucking wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling. So, like always, we are going to painfully go through some WWE first. Do you have something you want to say there, Ken? You had some conditions.
No, that was me.
That was Brock.
You have conditions.
I want to look at the camera
because
my wife recorded me saying this.
Okay.
I'll talk right because we have a camera.
I think the hard cam's
the hard camera's
right there. Go ahead.
If Goldberg beats Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, I'm done with WWE forever.
Well, guess what, bud?
Because you have a champion that's setting records, beating everybody. Mm-hmm. You bring back this guy that you dust off once a year for WrestleMania, and to beat him, done.
That's it.
I'm done.
You're out if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So no more wrestling show. It'll be the AEW show.
It'll be the AEW show.
Well, it's getting. I mean, let's face it. It pretty much is that nowadays.
Well, there's nothing to talk about on Raw. And
I mean,
other than the very few highlights.
Yeah, it's true. So just talking, like we'll go through it. I mean, honestly, let's talk SmackDown first.
Okay.
Now, I know Ken's pretty much done with the WWE. There are still wrestlers that I like and support in the WWE. I've told this from me before. I'm a big Roman fan. I love Roman. I love Paul. I love Evil Roman. I'm still on the bloodline kick where I'm watching that. But like you just said, when fucking Goldberg came out Friday, I'm like, are you shitting me again? Mm-hmm. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. Where you had a built-in story with him and Rollins that you could work what Rollins did to him at the Rumble.
Yeah.
You could work that till Mania.
He didn't beat him.
Yeah, he didn't beat him. That doesn't need to be like he's obviously going to fight Lesnar at Mania, but you could do a story for Elimination Chamber where they have a rematch or something there. There's stuff you could do there. Fucking Bill Goldberg again. Now, I understand that Goldberg is probably a ratings grab for some people because some people like that, and it's Mania season Goldberg. But he doesn't need a title shot.
Well, it's Saudi Arabia ones.
Fine.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with him being at Saudi Arabia. What's he have to be in the title picture for? How lame is that?
Yeah.
Why can't he come out and be like, hey, I'm here, it's WrestleMania season, and then someone comes out, McIntyre, or not even McIntyre.
Look at all
he
the
did that
recent
before.
challengers, the hoops they had to jump through to get a title shot.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
And then this guy just comes out and instantly into the title picture. Like, what is that? It's so lazy booking lame. And I don't think he's going to beat Roman.
I hope not.
I don't think he'll happen. Roman will figure out. So I don't think they're going to take Roman's belt off him. I still think they're building towards title versus title at Mania, which Lesnar with the other champion.
Are they doing this and we're now okay with title versus title? The people were annoyed with Brock Lesnar.
It might be.
This is the best Brock Lesnar they've had, by the way.
It is. But he doesn't need to have the belt at Mania. There's so many other feuds you can do with Lesnar at Mania that he doesn't need to be involved in this. Or have one title. I know that people want, like, you haven't seen a unified champion in a while, but the way they are set up and structured right now, with SmackDown being its own brand, its own show,
separate network,
its own network, they each need to have some sort of a title, because it makes people have a moment that like Kofi Kingston would have never won that title years ago if the unified, because Lesnar had the other one.
Yeah.
He would have never have won it.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, Lesnar beat him.
But you never had his moment. Big E wouldn't have been a champion. He would never have his moment if you didn't have that title, because that title gives someone else a chance to do something good. And it's usually the better match.
Yeah.
Or whoever has the bigger one, it's like, well, Lesnar has it again for a year. Or something of that nature. But yeah, Goldberg was so obnoxious. I think it's hilarious that Big E is just back on SmackDown and he's the New Day again.
It sucks. I feel so bad for Big E. Like, he's such a talented guy. He's got so much charisma. He's got a good heart. The only thing I miss watching on WWE is the New Day, because I feel like they got me back into modern wrestling.
They are good. They're still good.
Yeah.
And you know what? I blame some of this on the WWE, but the other part, Big E was kind of boring as a champion.
He can't do more than what they give him.
But they should, and it is their fault, because they didn't change him. Like, Big E in the New Day is funny in the New Day because the New Day's funny. But when he was champion on his own, he needed, like, I think, like, you see how good Lashley is on his own in that role as being a badass. I think they should have done something with E where because he doesn't cut the best promo. He's not the best promo. And it's the same thing where Lashley isn't the best promo, but MVP is, and they do it better. I think they should have done something different with E. Instead of the superhero gimmick and all the stuff they get, again, he was better chasing the belt than with the belt.
Yeah.
When he was chasing it, people liked it. Once he got it, people were like...
He didn't get a chance to really hold it, though, because they had to change the plans for...
He held it for... I mean, he won it in the summer.
3 months?
He had it for a little while. Because he had it through Survivor Series, because he fought Roman title versus title. That was November. I think he had it in like October or something like that. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase, which he held for like part of the summer.
Yeah.
Corbin stole it.
I don't think he had the belt for more than 3 months.
Something like that. Yeah.
So.
And then
and who knows what the plans were if Roman didn't get COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think what really hurt him then is with Woods being injured.
So, because what do you do with Kofi?
Yeah.
Because they need the New Day, because the New Day's popular in SmackDown. When they come out, that's one of the biggest pops of the night.
Yeah.
They're the greatest faction of WWE history.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And then Ronda Rousey was out, and she challenged, and she's fucking horrible. She's absolutely horrible. Her this attitude she has and the way she is, it sucks. And she's going to fight Charlotte. She chose Charlotte.
Don't be surprised if she's the mystery person in the Elimination Chamber as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to unify both these belts.
And then she fights Charlotte and Becky after Becky beats Lita.
Because isn't it the number one contender in the Elimination Chamber for the women?
Yep.
I think it is.
There's a mystery spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless it's Alexa coming back.
Yeah. She's terrible.
I honestly don't think that they know.
Yeah.
I think they make this shit up as they're going along.
Yeah. Like that day, they're figuring it out, firing their sons, and then right.
I mean, I think Ronda and Charlotte is the better call, because she did have beef with her, which they're bringing back. But and you could save Becky, but they're probably going to fuck it up and just do that main event all over again because they can't come up with anything new.
But here's the thing, though: it's 2 nights. If they have both title matches, unification matches, it's going to, like they're just going to have the women's title on Saturday, the men's on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any other title.
Yeah, you have
matches.
2 nights. I mean, again,
So wouldn't you want to have both your world titles represented on both?
I hope to God they don't do it. I hope to God they let Lashley keep this title and build something for him. I don't think they're going to, unless Roman screws Lesnar again, and they keep that going. That Heyman and him screw him again.
But it wouldn't make sense for him to do that because then he could win the WWE Championship because he's already fighting him regardless.
Yeah,
that just wouldn't make sense. He'd be an idiot to do that. But
yeah, I don't know.
Because if you're already going to fight him,
get him for both.
Yeah, but I don't think they think about logic or reasoning or anything like that.
And then you had on Raw, we opened up with a 25-minute quiz show.
That was such a waste of time.
That's what you're doing now. 25-minute quiz show. It was almost a half hour, and it was like a quiz game between like Randy Orton and Riddle and the tag team champs.
Yeah.
It was fucking awful. I mean, I fast forwarded to the whole thing, but I saw clips of it.
Commercial free.
It was almost 25 minutes. If I was at that live event, I would have been throwing fucking like popcorn and my soda and batteries into the ring. I mean, like, what are we watching here? It's a wrestling show. And don't get me wrong, like, I love a good funny gimmick once in a while. I remember when DX dressed as the Nation of Domination, and they did these different things.
You like, back when they did blackface?
No, I'm just talking about moment when they dressed up as McMahon, they did the Nation spoof, they did all these different things. Like, I know comedy in wrestling, like when we've done it before. This isn't comedy in wrestling. This was almost a half hour of the show. We were like, holy fuck, what are we doing here?
It led to nothing.
It led to nothing. This isn't when The Rock would do like This Is Your Life, and they would do funny ass things. This is shit, is what it was. It was absolute shit.
Wow.
Yep.
And then Kevin Owens gets his win back from the week before because we know he's not allowed to win and go to Saudi Arabia because KO doesn't go to Saudi Arabia. So to make him look strong, they had him beat Austin Theory this week. What's that do for Austin Theory? It's just 50-50 booking. Well, he beat him. He gets in the chamber, and then this week you lose because we got to make KO look good again. We just paid him a lot of money.
They made Damian Priest look like a chump to make AJ look better going into the...
Yeah, because he lost to AJ. Yeah,
he beat him clean too.
Yeah, he did.
Makes no sense.
AJ should get some kind of title shot. He should fight Lashley at Mania and win that title. Put some
good match.
Put some stuff back on there. And then the end of it was Rollins and Riddle, and they can't even do that right because that was good. Like, I watched a bit of that, and that's what I like to see. Is like that was a matchup you never saw before.
Yeah.
So you have like a fresh matchup.
But you know what they did?
They ruined it.
They turned it into a tag team.
Yeah,
They turned along the whole thing.
Because the end of it has to be fucked up because you can't have a clear winner.
Yep.
I'm like, this, sometimes I feel like someone gets it. You're like, hey, a main event featuring 2 stars that never fought each other. All right, I'll check that out. That's interesting to me. And it ends in schmaltz.
There was a virtual con for Filsinger Games. They announced all their spring releases. They're doing it every year now since COVID. But they have a mid-January or end of the January now this year where Tom Filsinger will come on, like, do a Q&A with the fans and release the upcoming stuff. He said he quit watching WWE because he said a company should not survive by teasing fans that they're going to get what they want and then always take it away.
Yeah.
He's like, that's WWE in a nutshell. They keep acting like, okay, we're going to give you like this guy, we're going to start pushing this guy. Well, take that back.
Yeah, they did all.
That's all I do.
Talk about Keith Lee. We're going to move Keith Lee to the main roster. Keith Lee debuts. He beats Randy Orton. We all go, holy shit. Like, this is cool. Even before he came to the main roster, he goes to the final match with Roman in the Survivor Series thing.
Yeah. And that same year, they gave him a rub in the Royal Rumble.
Almost beats Roman. Roman shakes his hand afterwards, like, holy shit. He gave him the spot with Lesnar where Lesnar's like, you're a big fucking boy,
Yeah.
And they were doing all this. And you're like, Keith Lee is going to be a huge star. Beats Orton. Then it was like, well,
I don't like his voice.
Next week, just, I don't know, go off TV for a while. Then we're going to make you wear a hula skirt. And then you're going to wear this. And now you're the Bearcat. You're fired. Like, how do you just lose that interest in him? How do you lose that interest in him?
Makes sense.
Couldn't you see last night how much people like him?
Yeah.
And you couldn't market this fucking guy?
And it's not like we've heard any stories about him being problems
No.
backstage or anything.
He's a big man.
Nice.
He can wrestle. He can do all these kind of athletic things. He can cut good promos.
He looks different than everybody else.
He looks different than everybody
It's a different
else.
look about him, his
Yeah.
size and everything.
You couldn't make money with this guy because he's an indie guy that Vince didn't find, that he didn't, that Triple H brought in. Nah, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I'll keep him off TV. He's not one of my guys, you know. And then you have wrestlers like Orton who was willing to lose to him and was like, yeah, this guy's good. Let's work with him. Roman thought he was great. Roman wanted to work with him, and you're not listening to your talent.
No.
Instead, you go,
It's because they didn't own his name because he was using his real name. You think that was part of it?
Yeah.
Probably, and that's why they tried to get him to be the Bearcat.
The Triple H
He
thing.
made one appearance as the Bearcat.
The Triple H thing is a big thing too, because
Yeah.
he was a Triple H guy who found and pushed him and made him, you know, and Vince don't like that. That ego cannot stand it. This isn't one of my guys.
I first saw Keith Lee in 2015 at a Ring of Honor taping. He worked like 4 times that night because how Ring of Honor goes. Like they'll do a whole month and a half worth of programming.
Yeah.
He never slowed down.
Yeah.
And he like I'd never heard of him before. Never seen him do anything. And I'm like, I left a fan of him that night. He was teaming with Shane Taylor. I'm like, you need to dump that guy.
Shane
just-
Taylor,
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have done it right, especially with the history with Roman and Keith Lee at the Survivor Series where they wrestled, you could have billed him that he won the Rumble and he's fighting Roman at thing to end Roman's streak.
Yeah.
Who
Instant
doesn't like that?
megastar.
Instant megastar. Who
Yep.
doesn't like that? A guy that Roman thought was, you were good, man. You almost beat me. There's a story right there.
Yeah.
That probably Triple H had a lot to do with because that was him and NXT and all that. You would have had a
That
main
was
event.
the time Triple H cleaned up Vince's mess when his roster was being held hostage in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. You would have had a main event that people would have been going nuts for. And instead, you just have Brock and Roman wrestle again. Oh, okay, for all the titles and the company name, and they even get the tag titles too. Like it's just out of touch with reality, out of touch. But you know what? The Rumble was viewed on the most on Peacock. It got a lot of ratings. They made money.
Signed
They
a deal with Disney.
signed a deal with Disney. Hey, numbers look good. Fuck all you. We're okay. We're
They
moving
don't
on.
care.
Yeah,
They
they
don't.
just don't care.
and that's
Yeah.
why I don't like. I
Yeah.
don't want to.
I get it. I get why you don't. I
I honestly like. I paid for Peacock and I canceled it the next day. I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we can't watch the Rumble together, like
just out.
I'm just out.
Mhm.
Because honestly, like
I'll turn the camera towards the screen.
All right, thank
is what we'll do next time if we can't do
I
it
just
live.
can't see myself giving them any more money or time. Or
If I didn't get it for free with my Comcast subscription, I wouldn't pay for it.
Well, I'm keeping mine just for
Through
Mania
Yeah.
because it's only a couple bucks, but then I'll dump it again. I don't.
It is a pretty cheap streaming service.
It is.
But
well, I mean, you get 7 shows in the WWE network.
Yeah.
a watered down WWE network. There's no
Yeah,
like,
it's
old
so
school
watered
stuff.
down. It's not like you can go out there and find old episodes of Raw and Nitro. I can't. Can you still find those
I haven't looked.
one out there?
Stone Cold's little thing that his little interview shows is good.
Yeah,
I
it's not
enjoy
bad.
that. DDP broke down crying on the latest one.
What a
Nice.
pussy.
Poor DDP.
Was
So,
it?
yeah, that was-
Was it? What's his name? Jake Roberts related?
Mhm.
Usually is.
Yeah.
So then did you see what they tried to do on NXT? Then
Yeah.
they brought Ziggler in
Uh-huh.
to try to feud with
And
Breaker,
nobody cared.
and no one cared. No one watched either.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was a tough week for them because they were on Sci-Fi due to the
Because
Olympics. So they were all hurt by that. I mean, SmackDown dropped a little bit, but Raw went down to like from 1.8 to 1.3.
So AEW beat him this week.
No, AEW didn't beat them. They were still 200,000 more than AEW. Probably in the key demo they won though.
I thought AEW was like 1.
AEW was 1.12 was
Okay.
AEW. Raw
That's
was
good for them, though.
1.3.
I mean, if you think about it, if you're matching Raw numbers now,
Well, we'll get to that.
all right.
We'll get to that. NXT went from 619 to 400,000
Oof. On Sci-Fi.
on Sci-Fi. That's
They
pretty
had a
bad.
big main event too, didn't they?
Well, they had the signing with
Oh,
Ziggler
yeah.
was on. and
It was
all
the
that.
women's title.
Yeah, it was bad. It's tough. I don't see that show making it through the year. Anyway,
Well, if they would have killed it intentionally, like
How can NBC? How can they be happy that you just gave them a key time slot and you're just tanking it on purpose.
What they need to do with that is just take it off television and just be something that tours locally in Florida.
Yeah.
Where you train all
Make
these
it
guys.
legitimate developmental.
Where
Put
they
it on TV in Florida so they can learn how to work the cameras and stuff.
and they can just do old school like
or just take it back. Just put it on the network.
On the network, just something that's pure developmental and it's not a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Because those guys need it, so they can. Because they have people down there that
they though, because they don't plan on bringing anybody to the main roster.
Well,
maybe these new gimmicks.
These new gimmicky guys are like you can totally tell Breaker is a McMahon choice because he has the wrestling pedigree with his family. The only place he's ever wrestled is NXT. He's not an indie guy. He's their homegrown guy. He will be on the main roster, and they will do stuff with him. Because he's
Cro-Magnon, man.
He looks just like he
hasn't been around in months.
He hasn't been around for a while. He's with Robert Stone now. Like he's awful.
He just is saying it backstage.
Braun Breaker, even though I hate the name, is a star. He will be a WWE superstar because he has the size and everything else that Vince loves. He's like another Roman.
Yeah, he needs to work on that promo though.
He does, and that's why he needs to stay down there for a while.
That Steiner, the great.
He talks too fast. Like
he does talk fast. Yeah. And they still have some women that they're developing down there. They're all homegrown stuff. So I think
women's division's going down the toilet, though. They're all gimmicky now.
Yeah, there's a lot of gimmicks.
It used to just be a bunch of women that could kick your ass, and now it's just like, oh, well, this one sleeps in the ring. This one does this. And
it's almost. It feels like it's the new WWE is like, all right, we're gonna start getting back into like everyone's got a career, everyone's got a shtick. And like
they don't make enough wrestling, so they got to do something else.
Yeah.
Like then you got Tiffany Stratton, who now is like a daddy's girl gimmick.
It's terrible.
What was the one that was a rapper? Or she's like, oh, I can sing. That one blonde-haired girl I saw a thing for somewhere.
I don't know. It was probably Tiffany Stratton doing something like that.
That girl you're talking about got fired already.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough to really try and follow.
So let's go to AEW then. Let's move over. Anybody watch Rampage? I always forget Rampage.
I don't.
I caught Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy.
They had a good match.
They had a good match for the TNT title.
I like Isaiah Cassidy a lot.
I do. Can I just say, can we fucking stop wearing 2 title belts, Sammy Guevara? They're not even 2 different
He's
title
only
belts.
had them for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's not even like when Jericho won 2 different looking belts and carried the 2 different. It's the same fucking belt.
Nope, they're different colors.
This is the same belt. Stop wearing 2 championships above each other. You're supposed to unify them. Just wear the one. It looks so dumb. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen with title. The way he wears them, they're up to like his tits. They're like underneath there. Just wear one. I could see if they were different belts, you'd be like, until we get a new belt that represents the both of them, I'm using 2 belts. One's red, one's black. It's the same fucking belt. The one that he won, that was the interim belt. It wasn't even like the real belt. Like, just start wearing Cody's belt, and like that's enough. It's already with the 2 belts. It was again on Wednesday. Had both belts of them. I'm like, we fucking quit with these belts.
I can't wait to talk about that.
All right, so let's go to Dynamite then. We started the show with MJF's Big Celebration, where everyone got an intro.
Except for Wardlow. So obvious.
And I don't know, what'd you think of this?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't. AEW rarely, I think, starts with these kind of like things, and I'm okay. Yeah, and I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
like because you know it is. It did a lot of developing. You know, like and set up a big match. I'm okay with this.
You had MJF, you know, bragging and all his stuff, talking up.
It did beat him twice.
It beat him twice. The shitting on Wardlow. I want to thank Sean Spears. It's almost to the point now where, like, Christ, if you don't turn on him by now, I've seen people get like less than this and make a turn on their boss. You know, like everyone's calling for it.
I kind of hope he doesn't. Just because of that.
And then
it's
Punk
so obvious.
Came out and he had Darby and Sting with him. You know,
and I'm okay with this crew being with like this being with that group.
It makes sense. It was his first match in AEW, but then. Nobody ever wants to fight Darby and Sting, even though Sting is 62 years old. Remember, like
he's undefeated. He threw someone through a building or something.
Remember when like Ethan Page and them were fighting? They were like, "Darby, you need a partner, but it can't be Sting." I'm like, why would you not want it to be Sting? He's 62. He could go pick Miro, or somebody that's gonna kill you, you know. And then he's like, you got to get somebody. Like, how stupid was it that MJF's like, you can't pick Darby or Sting. So he gets Moxley, like
Former world champion.
former world champion, tag team champion. Like, I would have rather him pick Sting, my man. You had a better shot at beating him. Like that made no sense to me. The whole like Darby's little. You guys could probably handle him, FTR.
A little piece of my heart would want to be like, come on, Cole Cabana. But I'm like, that's never gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen.
But I was like,
so we haven't seen a lot of him lately.
You haven't.
I'm afraid that's
yeah. So then next, then they got to talk to Darby in the back with Andre Elio. Who
I don't even understand what that storyline is.
I don't know what he's talking. I can't even understand.
Is this your boss? Is this your boss?
Is this your boss?
Is this your boy?
Hey, he's not a boy, and I'm not his boss. You work for me. I fight you. I'm like, I don't know.
You can tell Sting and Darby want nothing to do with that either. Just like,
I don't understand. Like, I like El Idolo in the ring. I would like him. We've talked about this. We like him money.
Just get a translator.
Yeah.
Just be like, I refuse to learn.
I don't even think he could speak Spanish that people who speak Spanish can understand.
It's just tough.
Get a translator, or just, and like you said, his promos do like they do with Imperium on NXT. At least they run what the hell Walter's saying or Gunther is saying under the bottom.
You can't have them speak English, then run the subtitles because that's bad.
No, quit trying to speak English. Just speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And have somebody like Penta. Penta says, have your guy be like, Mr. Elio is not going to waste his time talking to you. He said this.
Yeah.
Because it's so bad. It's so cringeworthy.
And even if there was going in the right direction, but it is just like, you're just not calling us by the right things, Elio. Like, we're friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a mentor.
I'm going to talk to your boss. You're the boss.
That's the boss.
And you're not going to be TNT champion. I'm TNT champion. And you're going to be like me, like TNT champion. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Darby's just like, oh, shit.
But here's the thing. Better than any promo I think I've seen from WWE when I watched them. Would you rather watch that promo or 25 minutes of Orton and Riddle?
I wouldn't want to watch either one. Both are going to get fast forward.
The Andrade thing was only about 90 seconds.
Yeah, it's about 90 seconds. So, I'll pick that. So then we had Wardlow destroyed the Blade. The Blade come out.
It was a longer match for Wardlow that they've been
little
giving.
bit
It wasn't
longer.
total squash, but it was close. I like
when the AOHA whatever music came on. I was like, oh, here we go with the surprise person. I was like, that's the Blade coming out. The fuck's he coming out for?
To get beat up by Wardlow.
Wardlow won. Sean Spears does his monkey shit at the end. He acts like a fucking trained monkey running around, jumping up and down, hitting you with a chair. He's so obnoxious. He's the most unlikable person on TV.
He is doing his job.
Well, I don't like it because I've asked Wardlow to him. I want Wardlow to kill him, which I guess is a good thing. But I don't know. We'll see where that happens. Then next we had the dinner circle, as Cornette calls them. The inner circle had their team meeting.
This is what I'm going to say. Everything that we wanted to happen at the end of it is what we've wanted for a while. I could have done without the segment to get us there.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's going to actually happen. I have a feeling they're going to fight and have this like inner circle feud. We're like next week they have a match. Proud and Powerful will win. Mm-hmm. Jericho will want some kind of like rematch, and then we'll get a singles match, and then and then it'll be to the point where like, well, they're done, and then like Eddie Kingston comes back, and then something, and then they all turn and they're back together again. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy it that this is really the end game for it. Sammy puts them back together, like they do something because. I mean, this was like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I don't know why this guy has to take up so much time on this show.
I'm so over it.
When you have so many other people you could put on TV. Like we didn't have any of the Bryan Danielson stuff from last week. None of that was on.
Didn't mention it at all.
Didn't mention it at all because that I wanted to see. I wanted to see like what's Moxley going to do today.
Yes.
Well, Moxley's just in a random tag match with CM Punk and doesn't say anything about it. And I'm like, okay.
Is that a dark storyline? You think
it's like going on in AEW Dark?
Yeah, like
because
I think it's only happened on there.
I don't know. It happened on Dynamite last week.
Oh, it did happen on Dynamite?
Yeah, that's where he said to him. That's where he said to him, "Hey,
well, this started on Dark.
Think about it, and then I'll see you."
Oh, yeah, there was.
And you're like, "Well, are they not going to mention it?" Instead, I get 25 minutes of Chris Jericho, and with what's his name?
Mike.
Putting at the camera, laughing and everything.
Mike.
And let me tell you what, Jake Hager is the biggest fucking dumbass in wrestling. He just stands there and says nothing. Yeah.
He's the muscle.
Yeah, he's like, where is he?
You don't go to Ben Grimm and think he's going to start speaking soliloquies.
He's not on for months at a time, and then all of a sudden he's just there and he's got his leather coat on.
I hope he's a contract that just doesn't get.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of those guys that were like
Joey Janela, did you see what he said in an interview this week? He said, I don't know what goes on there. He's like, my check still cashes every week. They let me do whatever I want. So we'll see what happens whenever my contract expires.
because he just wrestles other places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of these people that they needed to sign at the time,
Mhm.
I think it's time to sunset these ones. That's what we say with servers when they're running out. They're going to sunset them.
Yeah.
That's the
thing with
end
Joey
of it.
Janela is he's a personality, and he put in the work to get himself in shape. I don't know why they can't find something for him to do.
I feel like Joey Janela also, kind of going into this, was a guy that they started out the beginning to find young indie talent, and because they don't need that right now with their booming of
WWE cast-offs.
Yeah,
I feel the same with Jericho. I feel like Jericho was someone that they needed to when they launched this company. The company was everything you wanted to see because it was like people like Bucks and Omega were never on primetime TV. They're finally there. Hangman, all these young guys, and it was like
one big.
And then they
name.
were like, "Well, we need a big name." They got Moxley and Jericho because Cody Rhodes was not a big enough name for them.
No.
He was like your WWE connection, but like Jericho was their first champion, all that. It's time to like put him out to pasture. Either go be an announcer, and every once in a while, maybe the live crowd likes to hear Judas. So when he comes out for his announcing duties, do Judas. Do it for the live crowd who's there, so they get to have their sing along and all that. You don't need that week in and week out, especially now you got fucking all these other people that are there.
Yeah.
It's so overcrowded. Like you can't have him taking 20 minutes every show.
I saw a quote where he said he's the Undertaker of AEW.
He's not.
When Undertaker was at this point in his career, he was wrestling 4 or 5 times a year and appearing 6 or 7 times.
Exactly.
That's what he needs to do.
That's what he needs to do.
If Jericho is not around and he comes out and works a limited schedule, that's what I would like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him.
Neither do I. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have all these other people there.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time we saw Miro? When was the last time we saw a lot of these people on the show that you want to see?
What I want to see with Miro is I want to see him I want him to be calculatingly like hitting these guys they signed from WWE.
Yeah, that would be a great start.
I want him to be the door slammer. I want him to be the one that closes the forbidden door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have so many of these people and then like you can't get them on TV, when you're doing an interesting angle with the House of Black where they're growing, they're starting, you can't skip a Dynamite. You can't skip a show with them. Maybe some other people you can skip in and out, like 2.0. You can skip them in and out here and they can come in and out for stuff. But I need Malachi Black on the next week. I need to see what the House of Black. I'm invested in that storyline. You can't just be like, well, Jericho needs 25 minutes, so we don't have time to. And Punk and MJF, we have all these people that need a lot of airtime. We don't have time for you this week. We'll get you on Dark. I'm not watching all your YouTube shows to catch all
But
that.
the thing with the Punk and MJF thing, there were like 8 other people involved in that.
Yeah.
This
and it was a continuation of what happened the week before.
And they set up a couple matches with it.
Yeah, you're invested.
Nothing was set up other than Sammy potentially leaving the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
Oh, he's left, he says.
And then there's the match that they're gonna have.
So it's just too much time.
Mm-hmm.
But you would pop once in a while if like you didn't see Jericho for 6 months. Maybe he's just announcing on Rampage.
And then doing something so bad that he has to leave the desk.
And he leaves the desk and you're like, all right, Jericho's gonna have a match. This will be cool. I get to see this young guy versus Jericho. I'm okay with that. He doesn't need a faction anymore. None of those guys need to be in that faction anymore.
No.
They don't need to be in that faction anymore. Sammy will be fine on his own wrestling.
Sammy's already at that level, and I think
the faction
kept Proud and Powerful from reaching that level.
Yeah. And you can let Jake Hager just kind of go train people.
I like that phrase, sunset. We'll sunset Jake Hager.
You can move on. So the next thing in the back, you had Adam Cole and the Young Bucks beat up Roppongi Vice, and then Jay White showed up, which apparently we just found out now that Tony Khan overpromised with the whole Forbidden Door thing, so he went and got Jay White.
And I think
on Sunday.
Here's what I'm going to say about it. You can call me a mark or whatever. You would have never seen WWE try to go and do something above and beyond what they
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't get
To
what you wanted.
please-
Oh,
to-
well.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
please fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have just said, "Well, fuck it. I already signed Keith Lee. I don't have to spend money to get Jay White to."
No, I know nothing about Jay White.
Jay
At
White
all.
is very good.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He's leader of the Bullet Club right now.
I don't know if he's going to be able to mention Bullet Club anymore.
Is he officially? I haven't seen Jay White's All In poster like they did
No.
for Keith Lee.
No,
So I
haven't
don't
seen
know
it.
if he's just this forbidden door thing
Yeah.
where he's Impact and New Japan, but he's going to work here. Does he have to go back to New Japan for some shows?
Probably.
Probably. I think he's still under contract with them.
I think so, too, but-
So I wonder how much he's actually going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if this is the only time you ever see him for a while. Like
Yeah.
the Kenta
Made the
situation,
appearance.
where
Yeah.
Kenta was on for basically a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
Yeah, I don't know.
And
what
did
his
the Young
contract
Bucks not
status is.
know Jay White because they were like,
Well, he was the guy who ordered the hit on them whenever they kicked the Elite out of the Bullet Club.
so Kenny Omega wanted to bring Jay White into the Bullet Club. He declined it, beat Kenny for the U.S. title, and then joined the Bullet Club after they left New Japan.
okay, but Adam Cole knows him.
Adam Cole knows. I mean, I don't even know how you'd say Adam Cole knows him other
He's
than.
like, he's
Ring
good,
of
he's
Honor.
cool.
Oh yeah, I guess they were in Ring of Honor at the same
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm. Jay White wasn't in Ring of Honor very long. He just did his excursion there
Yeah.
because he went through the New Japan dojo. You have to go work for another company for so long.
So then next we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier, which let me get this straight. If you win this match, you're in the Face of the Revolution ladder match.
That's it. Revolution.
It's in March.
It's in March.
If you win the Face of the Revolution ladder match, what do you get?
you get a tug job from Ty Conte.
No, what do you get?
You get a TNT title match.
And see, that's what's comical to me is because every fucking week someone gets a TNT title match just by having beef in the back.
Yeah.
If you walk by Sammy Guevara, you'd be like, I'm challenging you.
Well, when they first introduced it, Cody was bringing in all those indie guys to fight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but now they got away from that.
And I mean,
thought was
Isaiah
awesome.
Cassidy the week before was just like, Sammy Guevara, I'm challenging you, and he got a shot on Rampage. So I don't know why you have to go through all this to get a TNT title match when it's so much easier to just insult him on Dynamite and then you get it on Friday. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you need to pick either or, I think.
I mean, you know what this does? This lets these matches let Sammy Guevara get his inner circle nonsense out of the way. So he can be on TV doing inner circle stuff and they can still
Yeah.
promote the TNT belt.
So the big surprise was, I mean, we knew Isaiah Cassidy wasn't winning.
that would have been a great. That would have been.
That
the
would have
biggest-
been great. That's what they should do one of these times instead of having all these WWE guys come in and beat all their established guys.
Yeah.
And it was Keith Lee. Were you shocked it was Keith Lee? I thought it was going to be either Keith Lee or Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
Or Killer Cross.
Yeah.
I wasn't super shocked. I liked his new music. I liked his attitude. He threw poor Isaiah Cassidy to the moon in that one, like at the beginning.
He's good. Keith Lee's good.
Yeah.
He's big. He's
He's a guy that I don't want to see him the world picture. I want to see him feud with Miro. Like that's something I'd like to see after this TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
They
that
have
was a good match.
There's a lot of guys on this roster.
There's
We
a
say
ton
it
of
week
guys.
in and week out. There's a lot of people on this
Mhm.
roster. It is really crowded there. Hopefully, some of those other contracts start dropping off. You can do
They're
away-
already not using a lot of those guys
Yeah,
unless they're all on Dark. I'll watch that.
yeah. There's a lot of people on Dark, and it seems like the same people wrestle on Rampage too.
Yeah.
You know, like same people wrestle
what's
on.
Hook's show? They did a whole ad for him.
Yeah, it's Hook's show. He gets a lot of that. And then rightfully so, the TNT title gets defended on there because it is on TNT. I like
Yeah,
that aspect
makes
of
sense.
it. It makes sense.
This company needs a trios belt bad.
Yeah, because they have a
Enough
lot. They have a
teams.
lot. They have a lot of teams. So yeah, good for Keith Lee. Happy for him. He's a good guy. He got royally screwed where he was before. So I'm glad he got. I'm glad he didn't have to do like Impact or somebody else. And he's
Yeah.
getting primetime television.
Yeah.
Because he's older. He's an older dude. He's not really a younger guy.
35.
Yeah.
It's not that old.
Well, I mean, like a lot of the guys that
In
came out
wrestling
were
years, yeah.
younger
Yeah.
dudes. In wrestling years, he's been at it for a while. He's been
Mhm.
wrestling in the game for quite a while. So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna botch.
No. Let's see a good run from him.
What was the botch I saw last night that was really bad? I'm trying to remember now.
Was it with Katie Arquette? and Serena Deeb.
No, there was one that was. We're talking about it in the next one. So the next one, then you had Moxley and Punk. That was his mystery partner. When Moxley tried to GTS.
Tully.
Tully. I was like, oh God. Then he's gonna kill him. Like he totally didn't jump right.
Him.
Yeah, he just that was bad. That was funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh Christ, he's gonna drop him on his neck.
I'm not gonna lie. I realized my time last night was at a premium. I'm like, if I'm gonna fast forward through anything, I need to fast forward to this match and watch the last 10 minutes. I heard it was a great match.
It was decent. It was good. Yeah, I mean, everybody in there can wrestle. It's FTR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I hate is FTR has to keep taking losses for all this. Like they had to lose to Darby and Sting. They have to lose to Punk and Amber. Like I would have had no problem last night that they beat them because Punk and Ambrose aren't a tag team. They're not on the same page. But like they kind of get dominated by
They
them.
did the Doomsday device and
yeah.
I'm actually. I think they're okay with it. Like you know, what I mean, they're.
They take a lot of L's.
They do, but they have great matches. I think that's more
good.
to their. And they get to tell a story in the ring. Like I don't think WWE would have let them go. They went for 2 or 3 segments. It was a long match.
This was a WWE match.
It was
Yes.
Yeah, all these groups in there.
Yeah,
so
but WWE's not going to let them have a tag match that be this long.
Yeah, now Punk gets to pick another rematch with
Wardlow.
He's going to fight Wardlow first.
Mm-hmm.
I think
isn't that what he said?
Yeah,
he said that, but I think he gets MJF
in the match. I think at the end of the match, they kept saying he's going to fight MJF coming up, which is probably going to be at the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and he better lose to MJF again. MJF should go undefeated until he fights Hangman and wins that title.
I don't know.
I don't want CM Punk to be the guy that gives MJF his loss. Granted,
Jericho gave him a loss. Jericho beat him in their
right.
final match.
Moxley beat him too.
Yeah,
that's right. Well,
for the title.
At the end of the feud with Jericho, beat him.
Then he lost a lights out match to somebody too, didn't he?
I don't know if he had a lights out, did he?
He lost a tag match. He's only lost a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he needs another loss.
Then you went from stuff that was pretty good and pretty ratings worthy to the TBS Championship, where Jade Cargill fought AQA.
Booker T's
and it was
apprentice.
Pretty terrible, I thought.
I fast forwarded this one too.
It was bad. And then it went right into terrible, where the professor had a 5-minute rookie challenge and fought some nobody. This was terrible because I was watching all this live because I couldn't fast forward.
It was not a nobody. It was ICW's own. IWC's own Katie Arquette, former IWC Women's Champion.
She related to David Arquette?
No, but she kind of looks like him, so she took his last name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get the professor's angle on her.
I like it. It's different.
Somebody's going to debut that way.
Mia Yim.
Maybe.
Then we got to the main event, which had about 20 minutes. They gave it about 20 minutes. Texas Death Match, Hangman and Lance Archer. What were your thoughts on this?
They do it way too often.
They do, but for the match on its own, I liked. I thought the spots were unique, like when they got thrown on the steps.
Yes.
I like that they took the top rope off. I like that poor Adam Page reminds me of Steve Corino in ECW, because when he bleeds so much. I don't know if he's drinking and taking aspirin beforehand to thin his blood or whatever he's doing, but it's just so much.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, his finisher that he did looked cool.
Yes.
When he flipped over the ref and did that.
Yeah.
But your world champion doesn't need to be taking that move that Lance Archer did to him, one of those still chips on free TV for that. That was fucking crazy. I mean, one of these days, someone's not going to, just like Penta's partner's out now for a while for that ridiculous spot. They got lucky that he hit him on the right part of those steps that gave a little bit. But it's also like, fuck, like he gave his finishing move on steel steps and Hangman got right up back into the ring. I'm like,
that's the thing that bothers me most.
Like, how did that not kill him? That should be the end right there. Yeah. That's your finisher onto the concrete, onto the steel steps. And like, he was fine.
He wasn't fine. I think he got up at like 9 or something.
He got up pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like,
if it was something he had to be pinned, he would have lost.
Yeah.
And that's why there was no pins in this match.
It's just too much with the blood and all that. They do it every week in, week out. I don't like these matches. it's too much for me. But I appreciate the end because the end move did look cool that Hangman did. Hangman is good, and I'm glad he beat him.
And I feel like they're doing this with Hangman because people are giving, I don't want to say giving him shit, but they're kind of undermining, like, say he's not a great champion. So instead of him cutting these promos like the last champions did, they're giving these, he's wrestling.
Hangman falls into me the same situation, like I said, with Big E and some of these guys, where you like the chase, and then when he gets it, it's just kind of like you like the pursuit of the title is more exciting than the actual title reign. It reminds me a lot of when we were all pumped for Rollins to take down the Beast, and he took down Lesnar. Then everyone was like,
well,
you know,
it's tough too. And I'm going to say it's the like, so Hangman's not a great promo guy.
Yeah.
You know what's going to make a Hangman match and really, I think, solidify his title reign is he needs a feud with MJF. He needs someone that can carry.
Well, the end I liked because that's positive.
Yes.
When Cole came down and got in his face, I'm like, I like that. I think he'll work much better in a feud with Cole than Lance Archer, who can't talk. And you have two other guys talking for him, which is just fucking annoying. They're all coming out. Adam Cole will cut some promo on him. And I think he can wrestle a much better technical wrestling match with Cole instead of having we're just going to throw you through. Yeah, they're the same size. They can they'll have a good feud, just like him and Bryan had good wrestling. You know, I don't want to see another fucking Iron Man thing, but it's a much better opponent for him because Adam Cole. How much did we love when he was feuding with Daniel Bryan? How good Daniel Bryan was with all the stuff he was saying to him. Adam Cole will be the same way.
Yeah, Adam Cole has a good match against everybody.
He does.
I almost was thinking that Adam Cole was going to come out and then put the belt on it because they said that when you're in Bullet Club, you're Bullet Club for life. Yeah. I'm like, Hangman was part of Bullet Club too.
Well, he did that kind of he gave it to him, was like, good job. But there's something brewing there, which is good because I think they need Adam Cole in the spotlight here.
Well, that's a New Japan thing that they did there too. Like your next challenger always comes out and presented you with the belt.
Yeah.
And that was their way of challenging you. That's something they used to do.
I would like Adam Cole to beat him, to be honest with you.
I'm okay with the summer to end of this year, like the middle part of this year, we get a couple quick fire champs. Like if it's Adam Cole, MJF, CM Punk, back to Kenny Omega or something like boom, 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 boom.
Because you won't do Adam Cole to MJF. Because MJF needs a big baby face to take down for that belt.
But Adam Cole is over like Rover.
He's over, but he's a villain.
He is, but he's a cool villain.
He's a cool villain. Yeah.
Like, whenever they decide to do whatever they're doing with the paradigm with those other guys.
Where are Fish and O'Reilly?
They didn't even show up this week.
Where are they?
They were wrestled on Dark and stuff.
Did they? They weren't in any of these angles. He
didn't need them. He had Jay White.
Yeah.
Cool. He had pocket knife Jay White.
Pocket knife Jay White. So we'll see. That's possibly a good thing. Hangman and Cole will be good. Like I said before, I wanted to see the Undisputed Era version of AEW turn on the Bucks and then Hangman help them and have Hangman and the Bucks versus them for a little while that leads to Hangman and Cole for the title.
I think you might get that, but I wouldn't be surprised to get a little more oomph into it. If GOD's fighting with the Good Brothers on Impact, I know they're not working with Impact anymore, but you could get some still.
Tama Tonga is a free agent as of
he is
yesterday or something like that. Him and I were born on the same day.
Same year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see. So ratings wise, Rampage went down from 600 to 540, and Dynamite came up. This is one to talk about ratings with you. Dynamite came up to 1.1. It was their
1.14
from down last week to 9.54. I want to see how this holds next week because they had a big segment the week before, and then they went into last week. Punk and MJF in the main event, they dropped back down under 1 million, which we were surprised about. So this week, they threw fucking everything at this show. We're going to have a secret announcement. We're going to have Forbidden Door. We have the title match. It's Texas Death Match. MJF's reaction. They threw everything at this show, and then they made it over 1 million again. You can't do this week in and week out. We can't have next week Forbidden Door again, new person, stay over 1 million. Is it going to stay? I'm curious to see what it goes next week. Do you have to keep going all out like this to stay over 1 million? Or now with Keith Lee and all these people here, can you hold the 1 million mark and run it for 2 months straight?
I don't know. I think a way to do to constantly tease the forbidden door and not have to say it every week is they need to bring back the TNT Open Challenge and
For surprises.
and have a couple forbidden door, but then a couple.
You could do that with the TBS title too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that there's ways you can do it without, saying that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think the crowd,
Like if you have a local indie guy in that area that's over.
like Warhorse, or
Mhm.
was it Warhorse?
Yeah, Warhorse came out.
Yeah.
Speaking of people like that, what are they doing with Danhausen?
Danhausen's hurt.
I know he's hurt, but like on Rampage, he just came out with the Best Friends music, and I'm like, can we not get like a video that says like he's aligned with them? Like, why is he aligned with them?
I would be surprised if
with the Pudding Gang. Like, why is he with them now? Like, there was nothing before. They just came out with him. It was like, hey, Danhausen's out with Wheeler Yuta and Orange, and we're here. Like, is there a reason why he's with this group?
Because they're all the goofy ones.
He's just there. Like, I want to see some promo for him, or at least a package that tells who he is. Like,
I don't think you're getting that until he's actually cleared.
Because he's interesting. Like, when he debuted, even if you're a new fan, you never heard him before, you have to be like, who's this guy? Like, that was strange. I would expect the next week there'd be like even if he can't wrestle, a package about him explaining like, this is Danhausen, this is what he does, this is where he's coming. He's aligned with him because him and Orange Cassidy like tagged in this wrestling that you've never heard of before.
I understand, but have they done that for anything?
I think you have to for a guy that's like that. That's interesting.
I totally understand, but what I'm saying is, if they've never done it for anything else that's happened in AEW, because we've had this problem before with them, where they don't explain and they think that everyone that watches their show is a smart mark. They're not going to do it now.
They should.
They should. I agree, but it's
especially for someone like, to me, like Keith Lee says it. Keith Lee says it all. When he walks out, you're like, all right, this guy's huge. And you heard like JR going, this guy's athletic. Wait till you see this guy move in the ring. Wait till you see it. They're hyping him. Like I think you need it more for like, why is that guy painted his face looking like that? Like, what is he? Why was he under the ring? Like, what's he doing? Like there needs to be a little bit of story for that, so that you're like, hey, I'm into that. And they don't seem to do that. Where some guys speak for themselves. Adam Cole speaks for himself when he debuts. So does Daniel Bryan. And
guys from the E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they assume people know. I just don't think you're gonna see much development in Danhausen until he can maybe do something.
Okay. And hopefully he breaks away from.
I think you're going to see. I actually think you'll see it split, and Trent and Chuck will be evil, bad guys.
Or does Chuck stay with his Roppongi Vice guy?
Trent.
Sorry.
No, I think Trent. He might turn, because he's been a heel before too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
there's a lot of guys in that gang.
The Pudding Gang.
There's a lot of guys in the Pudding Gang.
Like Statlander can go.
It's the best fucking. I don't even know why he calls him that, but I can't stop calling him that. It's so hilarious.
The thing that sucks is I'm usually not. I don't agree with Cornette's line with modern stuff, but Pudding Gang's better than Best Friends.
Yeah. When his reaction, he was like, "Is they putting fucking Danhausen in the Pudding Gang with Wheelie Beauty?" The names he calls them. Oh God, it's so funny.
Poor Chuck
Taylor.
Pockets.
Oh, Pockets. My little dog Pockets is what he calls him. The mascot. Oh, it's so funny. He's like, I don't want to hate Danhausen. Because he loves Danhausen.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I don't want to hate him yet. I don't want to watch any of his matches. He's like, now he's in the Pudding Gang. He was like, I don't want to hate him. So I'm gonna. He's like, when I see him, I'm gonna fast forward so I can still like him. Because he still likes him.
Because apparently, doesn't people constantly buy him like?
Danhausen has done cameos for Jim Cornette that people bought. That's pretty funny. I watched Danhausen's interview with
Sean,
Renee Oral Sessions.
Paquette.
That's her podcast called, where she interviewed him, and then a week later he ran 2 shows for her.
Yeah, because she was out on maternity leave or something. Yeah,
and he interviewed I forget who. Oh, he interviewed All Ego Ethan Page.
Oh, All Egon.
Yeah, he interviewed him, and Ethan Page couldn't stop laughing the entire time he was asking him questions. He's really funny, Danhausen. Really funny. He's the kind of guy that I know AEW doesn't like to do shows like people have. Like on WWE, everybody has a fucking show.
Yeah.
I want to see a Danhausen show on like Rampage.
Yeah.
You have a hook match, and then I want to see Danhausen presents, where he talks to someone. Usually ends up with him getting beat up, or
you know what I want? I want Danhausen and the old what was the stable in WCW that was all down to take out Hulk Hogan?
Dungeon of Doom.
I want Danhausen, the old Dungeon of Doom. This water's it's not hot.
It's not hot.
With that fountain, and that's what I want him to do. I want Danhausen's.
You could take every backstage segment that AEW does and fucking shit can them because they're all awful.
Yeah.
It's always somebody getting beat up or something happening that doesn't matter. And I would just have Danhausen interviewing people.
Can Danhausen just run the House of Black? Can it be the House of Danhausen?
No.
The House of Danhausen.
Or get rid of all the AEW backstage interviews and just have Danhausen talk to people.
That's fine.
Because that would also be way more entertaining.
I'd like to see a tag team between Britt Baker and Danhausen so he can get all of Britt Baker's teeth from the dentistry.
Yes. Instead of, hey, so you had a run and and then it ends. I literally count down and go 3, 2. There it is. There's somebody. As soon as they started talking to Roppongi Vice, Trent was like, "Yeah, so wait." Oh, hey, wait. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. God forbid you can get out any kind of a promo and they're getting beat up by somebody.
I would like to see other sports take like AEW does, like NFL. Like, oh shit, the Bears are here.
Oh no, they're attacking. The Bears are attacking Aaron Rodgers in the locker room. It's the most unsafe work environment of any place I've ever seen.
Do we have more AEW to talk about? Because I have something else AEW adjacent.
I also enjoyed Jungle Boy's interview last night where he's like, and the week before he threw me in the snow and it was cold. And he's like, and I was like, why are they letting Jungle Boy talk? Why are they actually letting him?
Because it's either Jungle Boy or Christian, because fucking Luchasaurus just grunts in the background.
He was like, yeah, and a week before he threw me in the snow. I was like, oh no, Jungle Boy got thrown in the snow. It was hilarious when he said that.
I heard that. I was like,
yeah, it was so funny. With the ass boys, they are so fucking stupid. Like, oh God.
The ass boys.
The ass boys.
Thanks to Danhausen.
Yeah. So funny.
So
Justin just said, are you guys still talking about this nonsense?
Yes, Justin, we are.
All right, wrap it up. What do you got next?
Did you hear about the person who is filing to run for the Senate seat?
Dr. Oz?
No.
Dr. Oz.
Tony Khan today filed to be part of the next election for.
Oh, really?
He's going to be.
Can he be Pennsylvania?
I wish.
No, he's
Florida.
Is he live in Florida?
I think.
I know that's where the Jags are, but is that where he's a resident of?
I don't know, but you got to think he's not going to be able to do can he be at every show and be part of the House of Representatives? Like,
I don't know. That would be challenging, I would imagine.
Yeah, and also running like a large portion of the Jaguars and a couple soccer.
Well, Shad Khan runs a lot of the Jaguars.
He's not going
to win. What's he running as?
Democrat, and I think his dad's a pretty big Republican.
I don't know.
I think so. I think his dad.
All I know is that his dad hired Doug Peterson, as the head coach of the Jags for last week.
Who's Doug Peterson?
Doug Peterson was the coach of the Eagles that won the Super Bowl with them.
Oh, okay.
The Jags hired him as their head coach.
Okay.
Are they still going to suck?
He's a good coach. I mean,
not as bad as Lovie Smith's new team.
Lovie Smith's the new coach. Why are we talking football? The rest of it? Yeah. Shad Khan. And then they also have the soccer team that the Khans run.
Yeah.
Out of the UK. They're a busy family.
So, I think it's called SoccerCon. SoccerCon.
So it's the it's not Manchester, is it?
Yeah, that's the same people that own the Penguins.
Yeah.
I forget who it is, but yeah, they have a hockey team. They have a soccer team, football, and the Jags and a couple other things. I mean, the Khans they do a lot. So yeah. I don't know who would run Dynamite in their AEW while he's doing that. Cody,
QT Marshall,
Triple H,
yeah, there you
Shane
go.
McMahon.
It was me all along.
Apparently, that's not what you want.
Did you hear Cornette talking about Shane McMahon? He's like, he ain't fucking leaving. He was like, he's still gonna be at Christmas. He's like, this is he's not there. He's like, but he's still at Christmas. He kept saying that over and over. Yeah. He's like, he's not gonna do that. He's like, he's not gonna embarrass his dad like that. And it's not how they work.
Mhm.
People actually thought Shane was coming.
Come on now. I didn't think that at all.
Apparently, he pissed a lot of people off on
Yeah.
Royal Rumble Day.
Yeah. Acting like an asshole.
Mhm.
Stuff he wanted to do. He was supposed to be in like one of the main event parts of
Well,
WrestleMania.
it was funny how like Jim Cornette was talking about all the things he did wrong in the Royal Rumble, like not like selling for anybody and all this stuff, and then he goes, "You find out next day they sent him home." He goes, and then everything we said makes a lot more sense. It's
Yeah.
like,
Lesnar was pretty pissed, I
Mhm.
guess, at him.
yeah.
Yeah. He technically didn't get fired. He just was told they're not going to use him anymore right now.
Mhm.
Shane's got a ton of money. Probably doesn't need that shit.
Yeah.
He owns the Fulham Football Club of the EFL Championship.
The Eiffel Championship.
Thanks to Justin for that one.
Producing when he's not even here with us.
Yeah, always producing, always working. All right, that's the end of this wrestling show.
All right, everyone.
Take us out.
Please like, share, subscribe, invite, tell your friends. Have a great evening.
All right. That part's done. We're still live. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
Bye.
I gotta pee.
Cons.